Can't see you.
Hey, welcome everyone to our Real Stories in the UK. This is going to be quite some episode, and I do recommend you get some tissues handy. This is very life-changing. We've got both the person using the products and the person that's introduced them to using the products. But before we go there, I just want to say we do not in Vox Live try to diagnose, treat, cure, or give any claims of any sort. But what you're probably going to hear today is really quite extraordinary. And just to give you an overview of our wonderful products and our mission to 1 billion, I'm going to ask Stuart Holcroft to share with us how they work and what you do with them. So thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, Rosalie. So a whistle-stop tour of the various technologies we have available to change people's lives and let them lead the best quality of life they can possibly lead themselves. So the first thing is the human performance technology. It's in the form of socks, insoles, and patches, and some other items as well. And what it basically does is it allows you to get much more flexibility through wearing socks on your feet. So the patch at the bottom of the socks is the part that gives you the sensation, or it works with your sensation system, specifically through the sense of touch or the tactile response. And that is the same thing with the insoles as well. So this is an example of an insole. This is the Rush insole, which is a sports insole, the thinnest one of the fitted range. You can see it's not orthotic, it's just completely flat. The most important part of the insole is the part underneath, which has like a thumbprint, which does exactly the same role as the part on the bottom of the sock. We also have it in a patch form as well, so you can put it onto your body directly. Some of the other items we wear, which also have human performance technology inside of them, are the knee patch, the knee brace, which simply gets worn on the knee. And this has the human performance technology on the inside, both at the top and at the bottom of the knee patch. And we also have a range of underwear, which ladies in particular can wear. And again, these give targeted support to certain areas of the body. Certainly for the knee brace, for me, I found it very beneficial, especially when playing golf. If there's a little twinge in there, it just gives directed attention to there. So the human performance technology, in effect, I'm going to simplify it very, very simply. It connects with the skin. The skin then communicates with the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system communicates to the brain stem, which is the part right in the middle of the brain, and the little bit that connects with the spinal column. And then when that is calm, the rest of the brain can be optimized or put into balance, homeostasis, if you like. So that's the first foundation part of our technology. And if you like a metaphor, it's like the front door to the mental house, and the rest of the technology then works further with the house once the front door's open. So the next part we have is this natty item on my arm. So it's called the eSmarter sleeve. Now the eSmarter sleeve works for specific parts of the brain. And you can see on the inside, this is an example of the inside, the pattern on the inside works with the haptic sensation, again, the tactile part of the skin, and it creates in your brain more focus, more clarity, better quality memory, and it also relieves stress and anxiety as well. So just by wearing this on your sleeve, just literally as I'm wearing it now, within 20 minutes is the optimum time period. Just by wearing it, certainly from my experience, it wakes you up if you're not feeling that awake, and it helps you to focus on tasks, especially as a business person. It's absolutely invaluable. The next thing we've got is, before I go into the patches, is a new range, which is called the Boomy. Now, the Boomy sock is elevated mind technology, and you can see the patch underneath the front of the foot here. Elevated mind technology, which targets the parts of the brain, again, associated with joy, with happiness and excitement. So if you're feeling a little bit low, put your Boomies on your feet and you will start to feel a little bit more joyful and more melodious. Don't tell him, but I got a pair of these for my 18-year-old boy who was feeling a little bit rough and a bit down about girlfriend breakups or whatever else. Put them on his feet, and within a day he was going around the house laughing, joking, singing, back to his normal self again. So I know for a fact it works in that way. They're also made from plastic bottles. So typically a pair of these socks will be made from 3 recycled plastic bottles. And the bonus of these as well is that they come in fully recyclable packaging. Boom He. And also every time you buy a pair of these, a tree gets planted in your name, which is an added bonus. Some of the other things we have, different technologies. So I talked to you about having the door opened to the mental house. Now, some of the other technologies we have are in the form of patches. So we start off with the Meta Patch. The Meta Patch is all about energy homeostasis. So you put this patch on, and again, within a short period of time, it'll start balancing your energy requirements throughout your whole body. So it communicates with the parts of your brain, again, right in the middle, near the limbic system, which control your appetite, your energy system, and basically taking over or controlling your eating habits, if you like. Now, what it will not do, what it's not supposed to do, is be a weight loss program. However, some people have found that by having their energy requirements suppressed somewhat, they're less likely to snack on sugar and go for the quick hit, and they're more likely to go for the long-term energy release food items. So what we found is that some people have lost weight. I would also suggest that some people with lack of weight issues or underweight might also benefit from having their system regularized as well. The next patch we have is called the Neurovax Patch, and my personal experience of this patch is wear it on your upper arm. And my personal experience of this is that with my immune responses to things have been damped down massively. So every time I'm wearing this patch, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it afterwards, how I know it works. When you're wearing this patch, it helps to thin the blood. So what we found is that in scientific studies, by taking blood samples with the patch on, within 24 hours, it can declump the blood or take away the rouleau effect, rouleau being the French word for rolled up. So when you think about what it means to have the blood in a very small cellular form without being clumped together, it means your blood can reach the areas of your body, such as the small capillaries, end of the fingers, end of the toes, leading to better rates of blood, energy transfer, oxygen transfer, and feeling really good about the whole thing. And certainly for me, again, I'll speak for myself, the last 2 summers, I haven't gone into the garden and been affected massively by the tree pollen, grass pollen, etc., that I have been affected for the previous 25 years. And last weekend, I went in the shower and completely forgot to put my Neurovax patch on. A day later, I still hadn't put it on for some bizarre reason, and I found myself starting to sniff and cough around the place with house dust. Since then, it's been very, very certainly on, and the house dust allergy thing has gone down again. And I know that I'm allergic to things because I've had the skin prick test done in Harley Street in London, and it's proven that I'm massively allergic to everything apart from mold, bizarrely. My favorite patch of all is this one. It's called the Rem Patch. The Rem standing for REM, as in REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. The Rem Patch can be worn on its own, as I've discovered. Certainly my father was struggling with lack of sleep recently. When he was staying with me, I got one of the patches, bid him good night by slapping him on the back of the neck, put a patch on the back of his neck, woke up the next morning just saying, I can't believe I slept through the night. It's been amazing, because every night before that, it's been waking up. So I know for a fact that it works without anything else. But when you combine the HPT sock on your foot with the Rem Patch, it leads to the most amazing dreams, the most amazing restful night's sleep. And more importantly, it regularizes your transition between REM sleep and deep sleep, and it keeps that cycle going as it should do normally. And again, we've had people with like Apple Watches on, monitoring their sleep patterns, and we've shown that works for them really well. One of the bonuses about this technology is that you can use it together. So with the Boomy sock, for example, you can wear a Boomy sock and one HPT sock, and you will not only feel better about yourself, but you'll also have this elevated sense of mood as well. So the double benefit. If you then combine it with a sleeve on your arm, with HPT on the sleeve, we've shown that some people get a 70% improvement in their brain functionality. So you can add the effects together to get the very best of effects. So there we have a very short whistle-stop tour of the technology. Rosalie.
Well done. Thank you, Stuart. Yes, a bit unbelievable sometimes, isn't it? But that's the way it is. I'm really excited. We've got 11 guests, I think, on the call. That's fabulous. Well done. We're all about introducing new people. I'm going to introduce you to one of my colleagues, which is John Moody from the Worcester area. And John's going to share with us how he and Iain met up, and Iain will tell us the story of where his journey has begun and come to today. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Rosalie. Yes, I live in Worcestershire, and like most people, I was very sceptical when I first was introduced to this technology. It's over 2.5 years ago now when I first came across it. But I can tell you that when you witness personally the kind of events that we're going to hear about tonight, it really gives you a most amazing feeling to know that you've introduced this technology to someone and it's had that effect on their life. I met Iain, who lives in Scotland, so on a virtual networking event early last July. We arranged a one-to-one shortly afterwards, and he told me his story up to that point in time. He was sufficiently interested in the technology to give it a try, so he ordered a pack of Harmony patches, which were delivered to him on the 23rd of July. I looked that up tonight, so 23rd of July. And on the 25th of July, I had a message from him saying, "Hi, John, could we arrange another chat? This product is amazing." So within a few days, Iain had joined us as an associate in the business, as he knows many more people who would benefit from this technology. For me, this has been an amazing experience working with him over the last few months. Got to know him quite well in that time. And we've seen a number of people that Iain knows also get amazing results with this technology. Fact for his Care Connector network that met last Wednesday, there were 23 of us on the call, and 8 of us were wearing Vox technology. So one in 3, which shows what the effect that Iain's story is having. So Iain, come and tell us your story. Over to you.
Yeah. Hi, John, and thanks very much, everyone. I don't know what John's talking about. It doesn't work at all. It's wasting money. Yeah, no, so yes, so I basically I was born with some disabilities. My mum took a drug called Primados, which left me with some birth defects. And as I've got older, my pain levels just went up and up and up. And when I met John, I lived in a pain level around 7 or 8 on my back and my hips and my knees. And that was my normal day, really. It's how I lived. And as John said, got talking to him through one of the other networks that we're in. And luckily enough, the government had just given me some money. So I said, yeah, give it a go. And the time before I'd played golf, I had to pick up the ball about the 18th. I just couldn't hit the ball anymore. I was in tears. And I got the patches, and it was the week after, and I played a 5-hour round in Irvine. I got in the car. I drove 3 hours up to Aviemore, woke up the next morning, did another 5-hour round of golf, got back in the car, drove 3 hours back to Glasgow. Next morning, got up and went and spent 8 hours up at the horses with my girls. It has been life-changing for me. Now, not everyone gets the biblical effect that I have had, but it has been unbelievable for me. The difference, I can't slouch anymore. I have to sit up. Whereas before, if I sat up or stood up, then my back would go into spasm and I'd be in pain. Now, if I try and slouch, my back goes into spasm and I get in pain. So it's actually changed everything around. And I realized that I was standing up straight when my daughter, who was 14, who is now actually taller than me, and I'm 6 foot, used to come up to me to get measured. And I would always stand up when she came up to me, because she'd be like, "I'm taller than you." And then I'd stand up, and I used to grow about 3 or 4 inches. And she went, "I'm nearly taller than you." And I went to stand up and went, "Oh, I am stood up." Yeah, you are nearly taller than me, actually. And it has just been, as I say, I mean, I'm up at the horses every 2 weeks with the girls. I've just spent 3 or 4 days up there with them over the half term. And I now get involved and I help them, and I do mucking out and moving bales of hay and all sorts of stuff around. And I mean, don't get me wrong, when I get home at night, I'm like that, be a bath and chill out. I know that I've done a day's work, but I wake up the next morning and I'm ready to go again. That's the biggest thing for me. The two biggest things for me are, A, I can do stuff with my kids now. I don't have to sit on the sidelines and just playing on my phone, coming up with excuses of why I won't join in with them. And 2 is getting up in the morning and being able to go again. Whereas before, if I went and played golf and did manage to get around, that would be me for 4 or 5 days. I'd just be out of it, you know, but now I can just get up and get on with it. And there is so much more. My hips, my knees, I never used to be able, if I used to squat down, I've had 10 operations on my knees. And if I used to squat down, I'd have to then roll onto the floor to get into a position to be able to get back up. Now I can just squat up and down. It doesn't make any difference. I don't have to hold on to anything to get up. Even though I'm 50 in May, I've stopped making the old man noise of getting up and going, I can just actually get up now, which is quite nice. And yeah, that has just been, it has been life-changing, especially now that I'm sat in front of this thing for 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. It's just been amazing. And then, well, when was it? Just before Christmas, wasn't it, that I got myself a sleeve? Now, I'm dyslexic, and also from talking to someone who specializes in ADHD, there is a pretty good chance that I've got ADHD as well. And that, again, has been life-changing for me. Has allowed me to be able to work. It's allowed me to be able to sit in front of the computer and have conversations with people and actually take in what people are actually saying to me. Usually, after about half a day of sat going through meetings back to back, I would end up being, it would just go in and come out. But now I can actually focus on what people are saying to me, focus on what people are saying, concentrate when I'm reading stuff. So John sent me through the article for the sleeve the other day, the white paper that was done, because I was talking to Marianne about it. And I read through it and I can take it all in. I wish I had this when I was at uni. That would make life so much easier. But the stuff is just unbelievable. And, you know, as John said, we are, for those in the UK, we are skeptical. We are skeptical all the time of anything that comes in from anywhere else, especially if it comes from over the pond, right? And especially if we have to pay for it. Because why should we pay for our health? The NHS will fix us if we break. So why bother? But when you realize what it actually does for you, there's no way that you would go back. I gave my sleeve to my daughter. She asked if she could borrow it one day. I pick them up on a Wednesday, drop them back with their mom, and then I get them again at the weekend. And my daughter had said to me on the Wednesday, can I put the sleeve on, Dad, when we're out for dinner? I went, yeah, sure, and gave it to her. Dropped her off. I was halfway down the motorway and went, oh. See, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning, my brain was all over the place again. I couldn't concentrate on what I was doing. I couldn't focus. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized I didn't have my sleeve.
Wow, that's pretty amazing all around, isn't it? And I've had that happen to me. You know, Iain, I'm sure you could tell us so many, many more things, and you've really encapsulated that really well. So thank you so much for that. And do make sure your testimony is on our testimonial group so everybody can go and find that. So thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to head over now. We're going up to, still north. We're going up to Darlington and Newcastle. So Meryl, are you there? Do you want to unmute yourself and come on and tell us about this lady that you've met and her story when you first met, and then hopefully Lynne will be able to share with us some of the little wonderful things that have taken place in her everyday life.
Yeah, hi everyone. I hope Lynne's still on here. I can't see her. I'm on my phone. Lynne and I met last May at a networking event, which is where we all seem to be hanging out last year in one form or another. This was an online event, obviously, and we were put into breakout rooms, and Lynne and I met, and we were sharing what we both did. And Lynne struggled at the time to speak well. Her voice was not very clear. And she told me that she'd been challenged by her coach to have 85 conversations. I don't know where 85 came, but I'm sure we'll find out at some point. But she'll probably jump in and tell you in a minute. So I said, well, I'll have a conversation with you. And I told her about the socks because I tend to try and concentrate on just one of the products at the time. And she said, oh, that sounds interesting, sounding a bit skeptical. But anyway, we agreed to have a chat. And we did this the following week. And she told me that she didn't quite believe what she was hearing from me, but she thought it was interesting. I won't tell you what she said. It was like, politely, she said, it sounds like a load of rubbish to me, but what have I got to lose? I'll give it a try. So Lynne's been in a wheelchair since she's 36, is that right, Lynne?
I've been in a wheelchair since 36, yeah.
Okay, she was a school...
I was in a wheelchair like earlier, but not as much.
Okay, so she was a school secretary, and but it got increasingly obvious that she couldn't carry on. And when she told me what condition she was suffering, I'd never heard of it. So I had to look it up. It's called Friedrichs Ataxia. So what that is, it's a genetic, progressive, I have to, long words here, neurodegenerative movement disorder. So that means that it makes simple actions either difficult or impossible. And we're talking really simple actions. So there was a list of things that I wanted to find out what sort of pain level she was in. So Lynne, do you want to tell us what you told me from pain and the things that your limbs did?
I was always in pain. Everything I did, every movement I took, it hurt. I was having spasms in my hands and my restless legs. And that was really, really painful. And I had just spasms all over, and I was just constantly in pain. But I never believed in pain. I just suffered.
And one of the other things, Lynne, was your voice. How would you describe your voice?
It was slurry. And I used to always sit like that and talk to people. But I just slurred, but when I ate and drank, I always choked. Or I always I just couldn't get my words out properly. I always muttered.
And people had difficulty understanding you, didn't they?
Yeah, there was loads of ladies when I spoke to. They used to say, what? but some of them weren't like asking us so much as saying, oh yeah. And I'm like, did they hear what I said? But like, I couldn't quite believe it in that. I just like never thought of anything. Because I mean, I've been disabled for years. Never like bothered us as much.
But you'd started doing a lot of networking, hadn't you? And
Yeah.
you were finding that a bit of a struggle with the conversations that you were trying to have.
Yeah, I was keep like reading people's lips because I thought, you know, I could hardly hear. People were saying, and I'm like, oh, but like I was really struggling talking.
Yeah.
And it was hard work sometimes talking. That was part of my reason why I left my job.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to ring people and they couldn't understand us neither.
And tell everybody about your neck and the situation of where your head was placed before you started wearing the technology.
I always had like that.
Yeah.
And I always said, hello, Neville.
Well, not quite as clear as that, but tell us also about your hands. How were your hands before the test?
My hands were always like that.
You couldn't open them.
And that's after 6 months of wearing magic socks in the sleeve.
So Lynne, we started off with the socks, didn't we?
Yeah.
And how long did it take you before you noticed a change in anything?
Well, it was about, a couple of weeks I tried them and I thought, I can't sleep with these socks. So I just took them off and Merrill said, why are you taking them off? Just get one on. Can you do that? Like, so I took one off and it worked. And one day I went in the bath and I came out the bath and my phone rang and it was the other lady, but I thought it was Merrill's, the magic lady. She said, Lynne, why haven't you got your socks? I said, how do you know I haven't got my socks? I said, because your voice is slurry. My voice is slurry when I haven't got my socks.
And a lot of people noticed that, didn't they? People you started talking to just kept saying, your voice is so much better.
Yeah. You went to see your neurologist, Lynne, recently, didn't you? Yeah. Just share with everybody what you were able to do and what was on the video that you took to your neurologist.
Rose, before you do that, Lynne, Rosalie, can I just introduce the sleeve because that's relevant.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, this might take a little bit longer than normal. But Lynne decided after a couple of months that she wanted to try the sleeve out.
Yeah.
I was encouraging her to say the next thing you need to do, she got extra pairs of socks and then we said, let's try the sleeve. And the sleeve, what did that do for you?
I can hold a cup of coffee. I can hold a cup of coffee now.
I mean, really properly hold a cup of coffee and move it around without throwing it all over yourself, didn't you? She was so proud of it when she rang me. And that's such a simple thing for us to do, but for Lynne it was impossible. You also did other things, didn't you?
Yeah, like open a packet of crisps.
Open a simple packet of crisps,
and hold a yogurt pot.
And actually feed yourself, didn't you? You could use a spoon.
Yeah, without tipping it and spilling it all over us.
Yeah. And that's when I mean, practically every week she would ring me up and say, oh my God, Meryl, you can't believe what's just happened. And something else would have gone. And I just couldn't keep believing these things that were happening on a regular basis. So you had an appointment with the neurologist. When was that? Was that in January?
What's it in January? January?
Yes. Yeah, I think it was.
January, I went to see a neurologist. And it was a new doctor. I'd never seen him before. And he got the hammer of what takes your reflexes. Because, you're not getting any reflexes. I've never had any reflexes. And he said, I found one in your arm. And I says, so he did it again, and I felt it jump a little bit. But it's just like quite amazing that I've never had one for years.
Did he test your strength as well?
He said that my strength was really good. It was really good. And then he took his hands off. And that was my strength.
And didn't he find reflexes in your legs as well?
No, just my arm.
Just your arms.
Yeah.
But you've never been able to lift your arms very high, have you?
No, I haven't. And now I can.
And what about stretching up with your arm? Can you do that? It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, for years, Lynne's not been able to do that. And I happened to be there last night, and she can now put a scarf over her head, which she's never been able to do. Have you?
Tell us about July to conclude. A beautiful thing that's happening in July.
I'm getting married.
Yes.
And you know what? These socks are going to make my finger go straight. So my partner can actually put my wedding ring on my finger.
And you can say your vows nice and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll try. So,
Lynne, I know you'd got a message for Jay Dallywell, and there are other bits that we could add into, but we're tight for time. What would you say to Mr. Jay Dallywell if you had the chance?
I'm just so grateful for everything he's done, and it's just amazing, all these products. And I would love to just tell him how amazing it really is.
That's amazing.
It's just life-changing.
Well, Lynne, the good news is things will change and keep improving, because that's one of the benefits of living your life on the technology. And it is an amazing technology of which we're very proud people to be part of. And if you're a guest, our journey usually starts always by wearing the technology. So you have your own story, and then you make some choices along the way and share it with people of which you get, nice benefits. And sometimes you feel you could come and help us on the mission, which is to share this technology for everybody, especially 1 billion people, which is quite a mission. So thank you, Lynne, and thank you, Iain, thank you, John, thank you, Meryl. Stuart, could you just give me a number between 1 and 12?
7.
7. Okay, so Nicola Simpson, you are the winner of the draw, which I've got you down as number 7. So thank you, Nicola, for being here on the call. Is that one of your ladies, John? I think that might be one of John's ladies.
I invited Nicola today. We had a one-to-one earlier today, and I invited her to come on the call. So lovely to see you, Nicola.
Nicola, I'll get your details off John, and I'll send your prize in the post. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and sharing your day with us. And I hope you can send this out far and wide. They're 2 extraordinary people that have their lives starting to come back, and it's just lovely to hear the stories that how far they've got so far. So if you have people that you know, please let us know so we can share it across the pond and with our colleagues and everybody in the UK especially. So thank you, Stuart, for your lovely introduction to everything, and I look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks' time, where we'll have more stories to share with you live on our Real Stories from the UK. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.